are 33 secrets you didn't know about the emperors. Like, did you know that Buggy was meant to have a different character design? He was actually supposed to look like this. He had a way more realistic look compared to his current design. He also didn't have his famous red bull-shaped nose and his X-bone tattoo. Speaking of Buggy's design, you might not have noticed this, but Oda actually confirmed that the tassels sticking out from both sides of Buggy's hat are actually part of his hair. Quite a messy hairstyle if you ask me. Did you notice that Buggy is the character with the biggest bounty increase on screen in the One Piece world, having gone from a measly 15 million berries to a whopping 3,189,000,000 berries? Buggy has quite a powerful crew at the moment, having both Mihawk and Crocodile as his subordinates, but his crew could have actually been even stronger. Did you know that Zoro was originally supposed to be Buggy's right-hand man? Yeah, he was supposed to be a part of the Buggy Pirates. Now, let's move on to the next Yonko. Did you know that Luffy's birthday is on the 5th of May, which just so happens to be Japanese Children's Day? This is quite a nod towards Luffy's goofy and childish personality. But Luffy is not only one of the most childish characters in the One Piece world, he is also one of only 4 confirmed characters who can hear the voice of all things. The voice of all things is a rare ability allowing the user to hear and understand the voice of animals and inanimate objects. The other 3 characters who have this ability are Roger, Momonosuke, and Kozuki Oden. As of chapter 1053, Luffy has officially taken the title from Shanks as the youngest character to become an emperor, as well as the title of being the youngest current emperor. Luffy also happens to be the youngest member of the worst generation. There have been several battles throughout One Piece where Luffy has beaten his opponent, but are you aware that Luffy has never actually killed anyone? You might think this is because Luffy just doesn't like killing, but the real reason is quite dark. Oda stated that in the One Piece world where characters live to fulfill their dreams, having their dreams shattered by Luffy defeating them is actually more devastating than death. With the reveal of Luffy's Gear 5, we also found out that the Gum Gum no Mi was originally thought to be Paramecia, actually turned out to be a Zoan fruit. This makes Luffy the first Zoan user in the show, and it also makes Buggy the first Paramecia user. Out of all the Yonkos, Luffy is the only one who has never been a pirate apprentice, and the only pirate who has successfully escaped all 3 world government facilities, consisting of Enies Lobby, Impel Down, and Marineford. But this is nothing compared to what Big Mom achieved. She was the youngest character to become a captain. She formed her pirate crew at the age of 6 years old. Yeah, you heard that right. She also became the youngest person to ever get a bounty, gaining it 2 years before Nico Robin. Big Mom also shares striking similarities with the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, especially when it comes to their ruthlessness, overall appearance, and the way they run their kingdoms. Did you notice the King Kong reference in this during the whole Cake Island arc? Well, when Big Mom climbed onto a tower, she roared and waved her hand in a rage, similar to this famous King Kong scene. Big Mom could have ended up controlling the strongest army in the One Piece world, since Lola, Big Mom's daughter, was supposed to marry Prince Loki of Elbaf. The marriage never went through since Lola ran away, but if it had, Big Mom would have gained control of the giant army of Elbaf. You better hit that subscribe button down below if you don't want Big Mom coming for ya. Now, let's move on to some even crazier facts. Have you ever noticed that Blackbeard's fruit, the Yami Yami no Mi, gives off black smoke while he is using it? But did you know that this smoke might be a reference to his real-life counterpart, who was rumored to burn candles in his ears, giving him a fearsome appearance? Blackbeard, just like Buggy, are the only 2 pirates to have been a part of 2 of the 3 great powers in the One Piece world, since both of them have been part of the warlords and are now Yonkos. You might not have known this, but Blackbeard is actually the only pirate to ever gain the position of warlord without having a bounty. By defeating Ace, the world government gave him the position of a Shichibukai. Another interesting fact is that Blackbeard's flagship just happens to be named Saber of Xebec. Now, this may seem ordinary, but he may have a connection to the rocks D Xebec. Other similarities include the fact that both pirates have their crew based on the pirate island. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the most feared pirate in One Piece, red-haired Shanks, a pirate who is known for his insane hockey ability. He is considered to be the strongest Conqueror's hockey user out of all the Yonkos. He also has the most balanced and arguably the strongest crew in the One Piece world. Shanks is currently the Yonko with the biggest bounty. This is quite ironic considering that his bounty was actually the lowest in the original lineup. Speaking of his bounty, did you know that Shanks' bounty could actually be a reference to his name? Shanks has a bounty of 4,048,900,000 berries. The numbers 4, 8, and 9 can in Japanese be read as Shiaku, which may be a nod towards his name, Shanks. According to Oda, Shanks was originally not supposed to be involved early on in the show. The iconic straw hat that was handed to Luffy by Shanks was originally supposed to be given by Luffy's grandpa Garp. Oda wanted it this way so that he could introduce Shanks later on. You might have known that Shanks only has one arm, since we saw the second arm get bit off by a Sea King while Shanks was protecting Luffy. But did you notice that Shanks has two arms during this scene in the anime that plays out after he'd already lost one arm? Turns out that the animation team had accidentally animated Shanks' second arm during this episode. Makes one wonder how strong Shanks could have been if he still had both his arms. What do you think? Talking about strength, let's speak about one of the strongest yonkos in the show for a moment. Did you know that early on in the show, Oda had still not finalized his designs for Kaido and Big Mom? This is evident by watching these silhouettes of Kaido and Big Mom, who were completely different compared to how they looked when they were introduced. Kaido seems to have been inspired by Onis. In Japanese mythology, Onis are creatures who are known for being big, hairy giants with thick skin, just like Kaido, and they also carry a kanabo as their main weapon. Kaido's crew, the Beast Pirates, also happen to hold their base on the island Onigashima, which stands for Oni Island. Also, Kaido arguably has the best durability out of all the Yonkos. He is a creature that has attempted to kill himself so many times that it has now ended up becoming his favorite hobby, besides drinking, of course. Did you know that Kaido is indebted to Big Mom? Why, you might ask? Well, it's because Kaido's fruit, the fish fruit model Azure Dragon, was originally gifted to him by Big Mom. Kaido's crew, the Beast Pirates, are the biggest crew a Yonko has ever had. The Beast Pirates make up more than 20,000 individuals, spanning from the All-Stars all the way to the Pleasures. But did you know that this is the only Yonko crew whose flagship has never been revealed in the story? Oda is very creative when it comes to making characters. He really likes to get inspiration for his character from real-life sources. An example of this is Whitebeard. Oda wrote in the book One Piece Yellow, Grand Elements, that Whitebeard was based on the bartender of a pub he used to go to with his manager. A fan once asked Oda to draw the Whitebeard pirates as kids. He agreed. Here are some of them as kids. It's crazy how big Whitebeard is. The original 4 emperors, except for Shanks, were all once a part of the now disbanded Rocks Pirates. Because of this, they were all involved in the God Valley incident. Shanks was also present during the incident, as God Valley was the island on which Roger found Shanks inside a treasure chest. We already know that Whitebeard's first name, Edward, comes from the real-world pirate Blackbeard. But have you ever wondered where his last name, Newgate, comes from? The name comes from the Newgate Prison, which was a London prison that held many pirates during the golden age of piracy. Do you know why Whitebeard always calls his crew members sons, and they call him father? This is because Whitebeard sees his crew as his family, and that has ultimately been his goal since he founded his crew. This is because Whitebeard grew up as an orphan on Sphinx Island, a chaotic island filled with pirates and bandits due to its inability to pay the heavenly tribute and thus not being able to be a part of the world government. These facts were pretty crazy, but if you want something even crazier, click here to find 28 things you missed in One Piece.